Right, I'm joined by my studio guest, Ade Oladipo, to talk about some of the top sporting stories, and we have to start with the big fight, Pacquiao against Mayweather. Now, you've watched the press conference. Who do you think is going to have the psychological advantage? Who's going to come away with this better?
This is probably one of those fights where it's level playing field. We're talking about both of the most experienced, two of the most experienced boxers fighting out right now. Mayweather's unbeaten at 47-0, multi-weight champion. Pacquiao's only lost a few fights, multi-weight champion. No one is psyching out no one in this fight, which is probably why there's only one presser for it. These guys don't need to see each other 10, 15 times.
I was going to say, you only need one presser.
You don't even need a presser. This fight's already sold. It's a done deal. But I guess you have to do one to kind of get the crowd hyped and pumped about it. But definitely, normally with a head-to-head, there's, someone kind of bats an eyelid or someone puts their head down and there's a psychological advantage. Definitely not in this one.
Well, the big question is, why did it take so long to get to this point? I mean, there are a few people that are saying that this fight should have happened 5 years ago when they're at their peak. I mean, like you said before, they are two of the best fighters in the world. Yeah. Why now?
Egos. Let's be honest. Mayweather's got an ego. Pacquiao's got an ego. I think at the time it was going to happen. They were both at their best, both number 1 and 2 in the world, not just in their weight division, in boxing in general. And I think in fights sometimes there needs to be an A and a B side. Both these were clearly A sides. And Mayweather being Mayweather simply didn't want to share his purse, or half of his purse, with Pacquiao.
Well, there's a reason why it's called Money. But yeah.
Exactly. When you have a middle name called Money, then you know he isn't going to share half of it. Now Pacquiao slightly has dropped off a bit, and he's now the B side, and I think he's accepted that as well. So, I mean, they're both getting short of, what, 100 million each, so I'll be a B side as well.
Yeah. Well, who has more to lose from this fight?
Oh, Mayweather.
Why?
Mayweather was the one that wears the TB hats, which stands for the best ever. Mayweather's got this unbeaten record. Mayweather's got, if you like, the inflated ego, which he should have as being an unbeaten boxer. He's the one that says no one can beat him. He's the one that says he's the best ever. Pacquiao's more the humble man, if you like, in this fight. Yeah. He's been knocked out recently. He got knocked out 2 years ago. So he's tasted defeat. He knows what it feels like. Mayweather never has. So for a boxer that never has tasted defeat yet thinks they're the best ever, Mayweather's got a lot to lose in this fight, definitely. Well,
what I do love about these two fighters are their characters. They're so polar opposites. Now, we know that Mayweather's been branded as the bad boy.
Yes.
And Pacquiao is the, again, polar opposite. He's the calm, he's the respected one, I suppose, especially in his home country. But my question is, when it comes to their fighting styles, tell me about it.
It's strange, actually, because their fighting styles almost contradict their personalities. Mayweather's, if you like, the bad boy, so you'd almost expect him to be the aggressor, and he's completely different. He's a defensive-type boxer, so he's more of a counter-puncher, so he'd wait for you to come to him, and he's more slick and steady. Pacquiao's more the aggressive one. As your footage is shown in the back, he's the one that's aggressive and pumped up for a fight, which is completely opposite against his demeanour outside the ring, which is calm, collective. He's a born-again Christian now, he relaxes. So it's almost like what you see outside the ring is completely different from the way these guys are going to fight in the ring, which I guess makes for a fantastic fight.
Yeah. What about the alleged rumours about Mayweather?
So many rumours.
So many rumours, but we'll just go with this one for the time being, allegedly.
Yeah.
Mayweather is paying off Pacquiao's sparring partners.
Yeah.
Apparently he's paying them $50,000 just to say, here you go, don't turn up. And there you go. So what do you make of it all? In fact, what do you make of all of the rumours?
Oh, there's so many, and we're going to hear so many more until May 2nd. There's been... Pacquiao's trainer has said the same thing, similar. Mayweather said the same thing. I think these guys are trying to psych each other out. They've realised now, they've done a head-to-head. They've seen each other in press conferences. They've seen each other at fights. No one's got under no one's skin, so they're trying to do anything now to get under someone's skin. Did Mayweather pay Pacquiao's sparring partners off? No way. Not a chance, not at all. Funny thing is, they're both actually trying to find the same sparring partners. So there's rumours there that the sparring partners that Pacquiao wants, Mayweather wants as well. So that could be something in that. But in terms of Mayweather paying anyone off, no chance.
Well, you heard earlier as well, the legend Marvin Hagler, he said that he won't believe it until he actually see it happening. Can you understand why he's a bit hesitant about this whole fight? It's been so long.
110%. I'm with him. I don't believe it's going to happen until I see these guys go in the ring. But there's so much money on the table now. It's not just these guys. I mean, they say that when this fight happens in Las Vegas, it generates near $500 million, which is this ridiculous to even think about that much money. So this fight will happen. Not because of them, but because of the people behind them as well. Yes. It generates far too much money for what is 36 minutes work in the ring, so it will happen.
Okay, and if any of those two had to go up against him, who do you think would come out on top?
Well, Marvin Hagler.
Really?
Yeah, he was a different breed. I think fighters back then, And no disrespect to these two, Pacquiao and Mayweather, they're both great fighters, but Marvin Hagler was a throwback type fighter.
Like, can you go into that a bit more?
And what I mean by that is almost a fighter that would do anything in the ring. You know, as fought many styles, would fight anyone. Mayweather, unfortunately, is accused of maybe dodging a few opponents that maybe styles might have been awkward for him, whereas Hagler could not be accused of dodging anyone. He fought anyone. Similar to Pacquiao a little bit, but the class of people around in the 70s and 80s were a lot higher, a lot of people say, than the fighters of today.
So would you say the fighters of today are a bit smarter by dodging certain fights? Because if they dodge those fights, then they're not going to lose. They're going to keep their titles, more money.
100%. I mean, we can't knock them. Boxing's a dangerous game. You know, and in one fight it could be over, so why take that risk? I mean, unfortunately for the fans, as a boxing fan myself, we miss out. We miss out on these so-called big fights, which is why this one's taken 5, 6, 7 years to happen.
But it's finally going to happen.
Well, fingers crossed, May 2nd it does happen.